Well, with the changes we have, we are getting a guaranteed weapon. We don't know what we're getting, but we're getting a guaranteed weapon. As we get started here.
I guess there is a sort of love-hate relationship with bombs, because on one hand, bomb starts can be pretty rough, but there is no guarantee that you can actually get bombs in Escape nowadays because of the changes to the price packs. So they may just want to get them anyway.
Indeed. It seems we had a map check. As probably was the red crystal. Unfortunately, I missed the other two. Fire rod start though.
Well, it's definitely a very solid weapon to have in the early game. You are a bit limited, but we have a very nice bomb price pack here from the Green Guards today, so they're not going to be struggling with any bombs.
So only 20 rubies in the escape sequence. Or the secret passage chest.
You know, sometimes you want to talk about things in Escape, but it's like you've seen this 100 times. You know what's going to happen, and unless it's something like mirror boots or hook shot or something like that that allows you to speed up this process, it's not really going to be all that different from the good old standard.
Not really, no. 10 arrows are in the first guard checkpoint.
And we already got the bombs, which you want leaving. You would also want to have something like 50 to 60 rupees so you can just pick up some extra in Kakariko before you check the bottle merchant. If you get some other weapons, you may opt to not go Kakariko first, which is always a possibility, and it would almost say one of the reasons why you would prefer to pick standard over open nowadays.
Just the map there.
And there's little need for any farming in the back either, because bombs have already been picked up. 2 bombs is not really enough. You would want to get 1, possibly 2 more just as a safety guarantee, but...
There's one that disappears. We did get 300 rubies though in the back, right here in Zelda Cell, which is not that bad.
It's definitely not bad at all. However, since that was the 3rd single bomb drop, it does mean that the next card that drops an item will drop 4 bombs, and that will bring you up to 6, and that's more than enough bombs for the early game.
These are syncing up our runners here, so we'll have a more accurate representation of where they are.
Yeah, they are definitely synced.
Yeah, move or move. Gotta love a good escape sequence.
I mean, chances are they've done this 100 times, so they know the ins and outs of it. Because it is standard, it does mean that these dark rooms here in Escape are automatically lit up as if you had a lamp. Because otherwise, the game would basically have to give you the lamp here.
And lamp early is never a good thing. Although, we do have the fire rod, and that does have some weight to darkroom logic now in version 31.
Yeah, these changes in the V31 logic with the fire rod, I would almost have said that that's made the lamp appear later, unless it's going to be Aga 1, because then it seems to be very early.
Indeed. Rope's giving us a bomb as well.
Yeah.
3 bombs leaving escape is pretty alright. We're going to be using one, obviously, to break open the wall.
Interestingly enough, the guards and these snakes actually belong in the same prize pack.
Yeah, and generally, at least in normal play, the rats are part of a rupee-filled prize pack. You're normally going to get like 20 rupees from them on occasion. Today, though, we don't know, because we're only going to care about this one rat here with a key, and move on.
There's very little reason to kill any rats here. Maybe those that stand a little bit in the way, but never mind.
Now, we did see a rat kill on Humbugh as a casualty of opening this place up. There's the... Uh-oh. There's a lamp right there.
They have both fire sources in the early game. The lamp at this point only unlocks a single location over in Eastern Palace. We're gonna have to wait and see if that is going to be combined with something else.
Alright, so we have the map and we have of course the small key. So this is an item here in Sanctuary. Let's see what we have to wrap things up. More bombs. That's a pretty healthy total going into Kakariko.
Yeah, this is definitely more than enough than you could ask for. And considering this bomb rupee layout, you may be a bit more inclined to skip out on Lumberjack. You don't really need a triple, you don't really need a hoarder, but Humbugh still wants that information.
I mean, I've seen a couple of Agassiz already this tournament. Wouldn't be surprised if this is the third one at this point.
I will definitely agree that there's been a lot of them. And also you do see the early lamp, so that could be a tell.
Yeah. Okay, it's only 5 rubies this time, and there's some armor for SailorNep. Last 2 times it was actually a medallion for me.
I don't really mind the early armor pickup since we're still looking for hard containers, just anything to grant survivability. Mirror is
pretty good.
I mean, it's good, but it's another one of those items that it doesn't unlock anything right now, but if the next item turns out to be something like a glove, that's a lot of stuff up on Death Mountain that's suddenly in logic.
Yeah. There's also the fact that it just helps with routing your dungeons a little bit cleaner, because you can dip in and then mirror out, save yourself sometimes trying to death warp.
Which, ironically, is more valuable in open mode, because you sometimes want to death warp at the end of Zelda's cell when you're doing escapes. You can check the dark room, and now we've already done escape.
Yeah. It is also helpful in routing pod.
Yeah, when we do get that dark world access, being able to do Eastern pod back to back is definitely something to bear in mind.
There's a bottle with a bee in it. And both our runners are pretty low health.
Well, they're not really going to die in Kakariko. There are no enemies here, and chances are really high they're just gonna save and quit after the race game, so this is no real concern.
Well, there is technically some enemies. You actually have to spawn them yourself.
I mean, you could hit yourself with a bomb when you throw a cuckoo or something, I don't know.
I was talking more so about the two women that call for the guards.
I can't remember the last time someone actually talked to them in a randomizer though, but you make a fair point. Also, we did see the hook shot, and I would not be surprised to see an early glove here and just blow Death Mountain wide open.
Lots of health. I've sometimes accidentally ran into one of them, and they talk to you, actually. So if you're just get anywhere near them, they'll just summon a guard on you and run into their house.
And SailorNep taking advantage of the bee, selling it, getting 100 rupees.
And then spending the 100 rupees to get 20 more. So
overall, a net gain of 20.
Yeah, and didn't lose any money in the process.
It is also that the gloves do unlock Sora, so Sora is in logic, so keeping that rupee count high can be quite valuable.
Yeah, that too. Okay, coming up now, let's see what he has for us today. A book.
Well, these early seeds have had a tendency of really pulling you in every single direction, and the seed seems to be no exception in that. We could definitely see some funky South Shore routing here with this book.
I like that SailorNep is releasing all the chickens that are hiding in pots inside the buildings.
I guess we're freeing them all today. So this could also mean, if Desert isn't boots locked, one glove here could put so much in logic.
Yeah, I'm almost expecting the hammer and the flute at this point, just so we can have a full clear of the Death Mountain region. At least in the Light World.
Flute with early lamp and book does seem a bit weird, because usually the flute allows you to circumvent the book for Desert and circumvent the lamp for Death Mountain, though. Well,
Yes.
they certainly will need to find something more to unlock things that aren't one room in Eastern Palace.
Well, there's our boots.
I'm certainly feeling Desert right now.
Yeah. We can't get to the boss, but that's still 2 items, potentially, that we could have. Not to mention the Desert Ledge and also Igina, if Igina has anything. Humbugh, meanwhile, as we see a sword there at the dam, is going straight to Mini Moldorm.
So this seems like Humbugh is probably going to go dam into Igina Desert following this southeastern trip. And we'll get later boots, but not that much later than SailorNep.
Plenty of money, some ammunition, and a bottle.
Nothing really.
Yeah, nothing really of note. Also, did that Moldorm get stuck on the very top of the pits? That's something
possible.
you don't see that often. That's something you don't see every day.
And some enemies in the game can have some pretty weird movement at times. The thing is that the rupees do allow them to pay Sora if they opt to make that decision. SailorNep probably a bit more inclined due to the boots.
Yeah. Probably would do the water walk setup in Ice Rod Cave.
Yep.
Something I haven't learned yet, actually. Alright, so Humbugh sees that Ice Rod Cave is only 20 rupees. Actually, wait, can they even do water walk without the Moon Pearl?
I need to double check that at a later time.
Looks like SailorNep got it.
Well, Humbugh is doing what previously stated. The book is essentially allowing him to make this sort of split South Shore route, starting with the southeastern, then save and quit after Ice Rock Cave, go to Dam, go to Igina, enter Desert using the book, and get the boots along the way.
So SailorNep is hoping not to see a heart container or a piece of heart here. Ether medallion and the piece of heart. Thankfully, that was not the fourth, which I think would have reset SailorNep's state.
Yeah, something along those lines. It's always okay to pick up the medallions early, because chances are pretty high you're gonna need 1 or 2 of them and you don't have to worry about it. But
yeah.
Still kind of looking for that one item that will really blow this early game open.
And 500 rupees just to get a piece of heart. I'm going to say it's in Desert. We've gotten a lot of things to put us in that direction already.
Yeah, in terms of digging deeper into the sphere, it definitely looks like Desert. SailorNep is...
Gonna check Bonk Rock, it looks like.
Yeah.
Another valid play.
Yeah, and they didn't check Lumberjack earlier, so we'll probably check that now as well. Considering the item loadout, it is certainly looking like an Agaseed.
Percutator on the ledge. Another play would be Eastern, but without the bow, it's not as desirable.
Yeah, they are probably going to delay Eastern as much as possible, partially because it's a crystal, and you can't full clear it due to lacking the bow, but also partially the mirror allowing that Eastern pod back-to-back potential later.
I mean, the only counter argument I have to that effect is you also check Sahasrara while you're there, so it's a total of 6 items. And right now, that is the most item dense play that is currently in Logic.
That is absolutely true, but there is still the risk in that Sahasrara is kind of like an extended, uncompleted dungeon in this situation. Similarly, though, Desert isn't full clearable either, so you are kind of left with not the best of plays until Desert becomes clearable.
And it has become clearable thanks to a French vanilla glove. And the boots are required. The torch has the big key.
Yeah, suddenly the seed is completely blown wide open. We have Sora in Logic. We have basically the entirety of Death Mountain at our disposal right now, thanks to the mirror and the hookshot.
Meanwhile, third bottle found in the back of Sahasrara's hut with a free red potion in it.
Never really gonna say no to a safety, but you went there to hopefully find progression, and unfortunately progression was not what was found.
The second item is on the Lamolas. And thankfully we do have the Fire Rod, which will be a fairly useful weapon against them as well. Should only take 2 hits per Fire Rod.
Yeah, with full magic you have 8 shots. You can use 2 shots to light the torches. That gives you 6 shots left. You can also pick up a little bit of additional magic before going to Lanmolas, and therefore get a little bit of extra coverage there, because the Fighter Sword doesn't do much damage to it.
No. Could even save a lot of magic just using the lamp to light the torches instead, which should give them a total of 7 shots without restoring their MP.
Trying to think of how much magic the lamp actually uses. I should really make a note about that sometime.
I want to say it's like a 32-point system, and I think each use of the lamp is 1 point. And the Fire Rod uses 4.
Probably something like that.
I could be wrong.
Yeah,
7
I think
shots,
we should.
so 7 shots and the meter is empty. So yeah, it's probably just what I said.
So it's probably 12.5% for a Fire Rod, that I know. And that would indicate that it's like 3.625% for one lamp user.
Yeah, so 1 point out of 32, and then 4 out of 32 for Fire Rod. Because we know the Fire Rod's 8 shots.
I think we leave the math to people that are more proficient in that profession, and instead we focus on what's actually going on in the race. So first crystal for Humbugh, it's a 5/6 crystal, and following this, Death Mountain is, well, wide open. And they also haven't gone to Barn Croc, so they're gonna check this on the way.
Yeah, Mountain is definitely the play here. Still potentially an Agassiz, though. Depends on where the second glove is, or the hammer. They could be in Dark World. Really, the tell will be if we get a second sword or the cape.
Yeah, they still don't have access to the Dark World via any means, since they lack a second glove, they lack a hammer, and they either lack a sword or a cape via the Aga 1 access. Of course, they also lack the Moon Pearl, and even if it's an Aga 1 seed, unlikely they're gonna attempt that before they go and acquire the Moon Pearl. Unless it's on the pyramid, which could happen. SailorNep here with significantly less magic here going into Land Mola's fight is going to take a lot more time.
Indeed. He's going to pick up a little bit of more MP so that can speed up a little bit of the fight. The old man on the mountain just giving us 300 rupees.
Yeah, rupees are really no concern today. SailorNep opting for some bomb strats to try and maximize the damage.
That's something you don't see too often as bomb Land Molas. It is viable.
It's definitely doable, unfortunately misses both fire rod shots.
Ugh, hate to see that. You really hate to see that. Meanwhile, on inside Spectacle Rock is the Moon Pearl.
Well, do need that, but we need something else with it, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we need the hammer or the other glove.
Or a
And
sword
right now,
or a cape.
Humbug does have options here, though, and I think the safest option, or at least the one I would do, is go into Hera, because Hera is another crystal, and you're right here on the mountain. And then when you're done, jump down, head over to the east side, hit the check Paradox Cave, and Spiral.
Yep, that is definitely the most straightforward play. It also allows you to check all locations available. If you find the myths along the way, you can go in after Spiral Cave and just check Dark Death Mountain after that.
Question of the chat, is the hint change the version? Hints are disabled for the tournament. But we still get hints like that for the Book of Medora and the tablets. Only piece of heart on Ether today. And that's a big key right there in Tower Hera.
SailorNep is just following Humbug here, going up Death Mountain as well.
I mean, that's where the progression lies at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely the best choice you have as well. We're gonna see a Hera pot here, which, if you know how to do it, it is faster than to climb it normally. Unfortunately, not quite getting that bomb right.
Yeah, you need to get in one try, and otherwise it's not really going to save you that much time. Or at least I would presume. I actually have not been able to pull off a Hera pot yet. Haven't even tried, actually. Ooh, and I just realized we're gonna have a fighter sword Moldorm fight here.
Yep, that's something you have to do sometimes.
Well, it is the intended way of fighting Moldorm, as we are about to see. So it will be 6 hits here, and when we get down to the last hit, as we see a magic here, Skullwoods, Thieves Town, Pendants. I think I saw Red Crystal and Mr. Meyer, and Swamp was the green.
Well, that's always a sad state of affairs to see both Pendant, Thieves Town, and Skullwoods.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, once you get the last hit here, Moldorm speeds up. It's very aggressive. You have to be careful, because if you fall down in the pits, especially that center one, you have a little bit of climbing back to do, and Moldorm gets all of his health back. And was that the second item, or are you still missing a dungeon item? Did we find the compass?
I think there is an item in the basement. Or is the compass there?
So yeah, the Nep is going to show us the 2-bomb setup. Doesn't get it either, is going to move on normally as well. Yes, it was in theory, that's right. So easy to forget. So they got both items out of Hera.
Well, no need to risk leaving that item or potential item in the basement since there is no item there.
Alright. Paradise Cave first has some ammunition and nothing else in the 2 set. What about the 5 set coming up here?
Surely something of more value will be located here.
Bombs, money, flippers. There's our Dark World. That's a really good Dark World as well, because now we can check Sewer Running Cave as well as Hookshot Cave while we're up here on the mountain. Just clean up all of our dead mountain checks.
Yeah, you just go in, you get those locations checked, you see which medallion is located up on Turtle Rock. You can also get the island item if that's needed. You have the mirror, so you can even make the route like this as well.
Indeed.
And you also see SailorNep taking down Moldorm here, picking up the second crystal.
That is a really good sprite, by the way, for picking up the crystal on the SailorNep's end. The sprite artists in this community are nuts.
They've done some fantastic work.
And SailorNep deciding to go to Hera first, gotta get Spectacle Rock now, and because they had to climb down anyway.
Yep, pick up the pearl now, do the bomb jump, and then hand over east side. Now you're really hoping to find the hammer here so that you can actually make some preferred Dark World routes.
Yeah. Oh, there's the Master Sword. And Agate 1 is dead. There's no way we need to do Agate 1 this scene.
Yep.
And Ether is the medallion required for Turtle Rock. Which... did humbugh pick that up? Where was that? I forget.
Waterfall of Wishing.
Ah, so it does not have it yet, but we'll get it soon with those flippers.
It's probably gonna take quite some time for humbugh to route that in, considering the Dark World is readily available and there's so much to do there. On the other hand, since you still need the Cane of Samaria and the hammer in order to access Turtle Rock, probably is not going to end up mattering.
Yeah. And Tempered Sword, it's Spiral Cave. Wow, alright, that's a power spike. So yeah, Agate is dead because...
Because you have the flippers to get to the east side.
Yeah. And we can't have the hammer in Pyramid Fairy because... Oh, actually, wait. No, we could, actually. We could have the Pyramid Fairy have it. The 5-6 crystals are on Desert and Mire. Neither dungeon requires the hammer specifically.
It is technically possible, it's just exceptionally slim.
Yeah, it's very unlikely.
Now, normally you would want to clear off Skullwoods and Thieves' Tunnel in full here, since you can, but since Table of Tenants you would want to shy away. On the other hand, you don't really have many better options, and since Mips is your only way to access the Dark World, you don't have many options at all for how you're going to route your Dark World. So you can do Skullwoods, Bumper Cave, check that, then head on over and do Graveyard Ledge. And from there on out, you can either decide to just go eastwards, you have the flippers, so you can cross it, Catfish, mirror over to Sora, or just decide to continue to Pyramid, Eastern Pod, or something like that. Probably not going to see that though, and instead just go south and route all the way down to Hype Cave instead.
Yeah. The best way to describe it is basically Titan's Limits Dark World Access is a very annoying routing options. Which is partly why we want to see that hammer so early.
Yeah, it's simply that myths for Dark World, you only have that one portal at Thieves Town Village of Outcasts. Hammer, you have the one at the Plains of Ruin. For Hype Cave Swamp, you have the one over at the Eastern Pod that you can also use. And also, of course, there's a chest in Thieves Town that you need a hammer for.
Question in chat, could they bomb dupe over to the Ice Palace area? I don't know.
You can do that. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but it is possible. And it is allowed. I've never seen it in a tournament match though, but I have seen it in other races.
It would have to be some very specific timing.
And a very specific seed.
Indeed. Alright, time for the moth.
I feel it's being fairly nice here and giving a lot of free kills, or free hits I should say.
And Moth had the big key.
We're probably going to see a mirror here, check the pedestal and figure out what it is.
Yeah.
Swamp is actually fully clearable once you obtain the hammer at this point, and the hammer really can't be that far away, right?
Yeah, and the dungeons are right next to each other in terms of map locations. Humbugh is going to check this last chest first, though.
Yeah, still looking for the items here. We'll see how SailorNep is gonna route this Dark World.
Yeah, there's still one item withstanding here in Skullwoods. The other one was just some money. Small key. Alright, are we seeing the mirror to check the pedestal? We are.
This is your best opportunity to check it, because otherwise you're gonna have to run quite some distance to get this information.
Just couch cash.
And on one hand, knowing that the pedestal is dead can actually make this harder, because now you may not be as inclined to actually go to the back of Thieves Town.
No, and also Swamp Palace doesn't seem that appetizing. It is technically 7 items, including the green pendant turn-in, but it's also Swamp Palace. It's not exactly a very fun dungeon.
Well, SailorNep isn't even going to the back of Skullwoods to finish off Mothula. Just decided to skip out on that, see that Thumper Cave is dead, and then heading over to Graveyard Ledge. Also, we do have King's Tomb now available as well, so this is a bit more profitable.
Yeah.
But then it's the big question, do you cross the river here eastwards, or do you just go back?
I'd cross the river eastwards. And then do a save and quick, start a sanctuary, and then take the warp again. And then start working my way southward through Village of Outcasts onwards.
Thing is, if you go east here, Humbugh would be more likely to do so, since didn't check these Flippers locations that SailorNep did. And if you make that call and you don't go pod, and it ends up being progression in pod, it's gonna take a long time for you to get back there.
Yeah, my counter argument at this point in time is that we don't have a bow, and for all we know, pod is just gonna have something that's like a map in the first chest, and then it's completely bow locked, and we can't do anything about it. Other than, well, use something like the camera break glitch to skip the bow lock requirement.
Yeah, and that is definitely a possibility. Now we do have the flute, so we have access to the mire area at this point. Since you're already in Village of Outcasts, you can just easily mirror over, activate it, And we may actually opt to see that be checked. Checkerboard Cave is there as well, and it's in logic. You can get the information on what you need from Mire as well.
Yeah, overall though, I think going south through Dark World is probably the more lucrative play in terms of items. As we see, the Frontisco was not from Humbug.
It's a very interesting Skullwoods route that Humbug is opting for here.
Yeah, went straight to the back first.
Yeah, went
So
for
far,
the back and then left the entire skeleton forest to check the northern locations, and then went back in after that to check these 3 locations in the front, or 4 locations in the front.
so it looks like the second item is in fact in this big chest. So you do have to kill them off for this. And it's the blue boomerang. Not a great find, but it does help with menuing for those who care for it that way.
And for people who are used to having the boomerang in their menu, that can help. Also, there is some interesting strats you can use it with switches in Ganon's tower, but besides that, that's very little use. We also know that the red boomerang is on Sora Ledge, so that's not going to be picked up.
Humbug now picking up their flute.
Yeah, SailorNep just checked the first 4, and then opted to leave. Will probably not go back in for a long time.
SailorNep was actually fluting away. Gonna check the Mire area.
Yeah, we're digging deeper into the sphere logic here.
I mean, nothing over here is hammerlocked. And the medallion is Quake, which we have yet to see.
Not quite getting the 1-frame dash there, but we will need to find that Quake at some point due to Mire being the other 5-6 crystal.
Yeah, so Fidelio medallion requirements today, except it is flip-flop between the 2 dungeons that require them.
Yeah, SailorNep, you've done this already. Probably muscle memory with that mirror.
Probably.
Humbug also leaving Feast on after 4 items to activate the flute, and they just follow with the exact same route here. Or actually take that south and visit, but this flute so far didn't really give anything.
No.
Guess we're fluting back into the Dark World then.
You know what would be really rude is that the hammer is in Ice Palace, which we do have access to right now. We should point out. We cannot full clear it because we need that hammer. But we do have partial access to it. We have about half the chest available to us.
And if you don't have anything by the time you're finished with Hype Cave, by the time you're finished with Bombo's tablet, you may just as well go into Swamp and get that item checked.
Speaking of bombos,
There's literally nothing for us to see, unfortunately.
It's got a niche use.
It is the GT climb. It's the safest weapon that you have for the climb. I will agree with that.
I was gonna say actually it is more mana efficient to break Cold Stare shell.
That is also true.
And Cold Stare is a required boss.
No, but on the other hand, they have tempered swords, so that fight, if they just use the fire rod shots, get Cold Stare into the corner, they will probably have enough damage to finish them off. But yes, of course, if they're not feeling too confident in that fight, they always have that option.
Very long day game. And all for a single rupee. Really not worth it today. Tonight, the words.
So, SailorNep not going for the Smith here probably means a Swamp Pod or something like that. Meanwhile, Humbug probably going through with this entire purple chest chain.
I mean, SailorNep could also be checking these spots in case it's the hammer, so that they can fly over the purple chest to the specialist.
It does seem like SailorNep doesn't want to potentially orphan the hammer pegs as well.
That also makes sense. 10 rupees for 10 arrows from the smiths. Alright. I said it once, so I'll say it again. Legacy and reputation. Here comes Hype Cave. Starting off, just some 20 rupees. Some more money. A heart container. It's the same card, actually. 10 arrows and another heart container.
That was about
probably...
par for the course.
Yeah, par for the course, I'd say. I'd give it a 2 because that health could be helpful in while taking another big hit from something like the Chain Chomps or Ganon.
I think for our players, though, that's probably a 0. So, do a Bombos tablet, Humbugh will be able to route this in with the purple chest for an additional check. As you said, SailorNep probably will be using the flute for these checks instead. We'll see if that's going to be an option in due time.
Yeah, ideally SailorNep wants to pair it with the hammer so that they can use the portals south of Link's house to just get the chest over there. Although they don't really need the hammer now, do they? They just really want it for the thing. Also, you notice something here. Humbugh didn't have the chest. That's a new legal trick. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's pretty awesome.
The interesting thing about that glitch is that some people have known about it for years, but apparently most people haven't known about it, and therefore it never got around until just a couple of months ago. So Humbugh now going back, checking Hype Cave, and at that point, if you're not checking the first chest in Swamp now, you're probably not going to check it at all. You will be more inclined to want to cross the water, get the pyramid done, and probably go into pod if you don't want to do catfish, sort of.
I don't think Humbugh has also been to Sahasrara. Could be wrong, I forget already.
I think it's only SailorNep went there, correct?
Yeah, so right now, Eastern Pod and Sahasrara seem very tempting for Humbugh. I wouldn't be surprised if they went over that way.
It is a lot of items, it's also 2 crystal dungeons you can't full clear, but you are really running out of options here.
And as I thought, SailorNep using the flute to take the chest back.
You do also have Ice Palace, which is an option, but hammerless Ice Palace is never something you want to go into.
And there are a couple of checks that Nep did not do here when running around with fake flippers. First flip is this, which was the Cane of Samaria.
Well, that unlocks...
in full clear once we find the fight medallion.
Yeah, right now the cane doesn't unlock any item locations at all, because we can't enter Mr. Myra Turtle Rock.
It does let us clear Ice Palace on a technicality.
No, because you need a hammer to clear Ice Palace.
Well, that aside, of course, but there is logic in place that in which culture can have a small key, and in which case you are required to have the Cane of Samaria.
Absolutely, but we will still need to find the hammer before that happens.
Indeed. I got a little ahead of myself there, I'm sorry.
It happens. But it also just kind of showcases just how much the hammer is locking right now for our players.
Yeah. To state that the hammer locks half the seed isn't completely false. It certainly feels like it does.
And this is often why hammer go mode is such a fantastic feeling because there is so many dungeons that you get to go mode.
Armor upgrade found on the pyramid. We now have a red Yoshi.
And SailorNep actually going into the back of Thieves Town to clear this out.
4th bottle. We know where they all are. And that one has a blue potion, which is not that bad to have.
There's a blue and a red potion that you get for free. That's definitely not bad.
And it looks like Humbug will be checking Catfish and Zora. So we'll be picking up the Ether Medallion here, along with whatever's on Catfish, yeah.
But if you save and quit here, you are probably going back into Thieves Town. Because it's gonna take such a long time to go over to the Eastern Pod area.
Yeah. And Pod, even though it seems valuable right now, again, it could just very well be key locked because we don't have a small key available to us right at the beginning of the dungeon. So it wouldn't hurt to dip the dungeon, but at the same time, it would take a long time to get back there if we don't have the bow.
Well, all we have left now are actually dungeons. It's Eastern Pod, Swamp, or Ice for the progression. I think everything else has been checked unless there's one item left in Thieves Town.
I haven't kept track of the items. But I think you're right. I'm gonna say Pod is not bow locked. At least not right away.
SailorNep not quite getting the cycle here, but still it's not gonna have any problem.
And banging the King Sword and not picking up the item seems right to me.
So it must be Eastern Pod or Ice Palace, or that one chest in Swamp that has the progression at this point. I think everything else been checked.
Humbug gonna check the Mire area. Does not have information on the medallion requirement here. Which is a shame because this would have been a very nice play because Mire is one of the dungeons we could have full cleared if we had one of the if it wasn't Quake. And SailorNep is also gonna check the pedestal. We'll also get the information that it's not a pet seed.
And doing it like this. Yeah, doing it like this, probably not going back of Skullwoods then.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense to me. You don't want to do a pedestal seed if you know that's, or you don't want to do a words! You don't want to do Pendant Skullwoods if you know what the pedestal is.
Yeah, and also, as I said earlier, if you know it's a pedestal seed, some choices are just no longer choices because you have to do them.
So I think Humbug is going to choose to do Thieves Town here, which we already had the information of.
And SailorNep will now head on over to Catfish Pyramid, probably going Pod after this.
Yeah, Pod or Eastern is definitely the play.
Humbug is not going Thieves Town actually. But as you can see, these players, they're gonna be running for a long time to get to where the items are located right now.
Where is Humbug going?
It looks like Swamp.
I would assume so, yeah. There's no other way to get over to this side from here.
These are long trips for a single item for both of them.
Yeah, we know that Catfish doesn't have anything.
And we know Pyramid only has the mail upgrade, but after that, SailorNep can easily go Pod Eastern.
Yeah.
And Humbug maybe goes Ice if this doesn't have anything.
That would make the most sense. Because that's just a quick mirror and a jump in the lake.
Well, I think everyone has checked everything except for Humbug not checking Sahasrara.
Actually, I like Humbug's routing here, I just realized, because he can mirror go to Ice. And if it's not Ice... Oh, actually, no. He'll probably go over to Pod Eastern first and then go to the ice. He went this way first to get to the hardest dungeon to reach first.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. First of all, we need to get this swamp item out of the way and leave.
So Humbug will probably swim across the lake here and head over to Pod.
If you're taking this path, you are probably not going nice. I don't actually know the fastest way to go about this. Well, we're definitely in bad sea territory here. We're 50 minutes in, we have 2 crystals, and we need bow, ice rod, quake, cane of Samaria, not cane of Samaria, hammer for go mode. And we are forced to go into dungeons that you can full clear.
Yeah, Humbug is heading over to Pod Eastern first, which is smart. I like this play. He's going to the one place that he won't have to do a whole nother lap around the Dark World to reach. Because if he goes to ice, he's committed to having to do a longer trip again.
Yep, that is true. And
So
you've
he's
already
gonna-
seen how long time it takes, and you may say, well, they have boots. Yeah, but so do your opponent. So even if you can get to the destination faster, so can your opponent. It's not all about just finishing the seed as fast as possible. It's about beating your opponent doing so.
Yeah. Efficient checks are also a huge factor in this as well. And Humbug is choosing to be efficient with how many times he has to make the long trek around Dark World.
That was a very clever portal there from SailorNep, just using it to check what's on the island, sees that the cane is there, knows that it doesn't unlock anything right now, and can easily pick it up later, and is going into pod.
Yeah.
Could go Eastern first, but I'm pretty certain we're gonna see pod here first.
Yeah, because Pod can be almost immediately locked out. And with that red potion, we can just break the bow requirement here. So we can explore this place.
Also, pod is deeper into the sphere logic since it is a later dungeon than Eastern, so players usually are under the impression that it's not where we're going, actually.
So they're gonna sequence break this, but it's a 50-50 shot between its Eastern and Ice.
So even if you find some progression in here by glitching, you may still go into Eastern, even if you don't find the bow. Because you know it's gonna lock the bow, which could mean that the bow is in Eastern or Ice?
It's either the 3 items in Eastern or the 4 items potential that is in Ice.
And if something is here, that's probably the bow.
Well, if it's here, and if it's the bow, then
here.
that would be the required silver. Or the intended silvers anyway, and the bow that they want us to have is elsewhere.
Yeah, if they do find something like a bow here, that would be really weird.
Well, the bows are progressive.
And they can certainly throw you for a loop.
Indeed. So I believe the other 2 chests in this starting area are small keys that we haven't seen from Humbug.
Yeah, we've only seen 2 small keys. So yeah, I think that must be accurate that we are trading small keys for small keys here.
Yeah, there's 1 small key that's locked behind a small key, and there's a small key in the basement, southwest basement. Because the front of escape usually has 4 small keys, and we found 2 on right side.
Yeah, so we're very likely gonna find a small key in here, together with, well, hopefully some progression.
And I like what Humbug is doing here. He knows that there were 2 small keys bow locked. So he's going over the places that have multiple keys behind them, so not choosing a 1-for-1.
Nep actually going for the bomb jump. That cape doesn't do anything. Bumper cape is dead.
It does do something, actually. Well, not right now, but
Yeah,
that is our logical access to Spike Cave.
Yeah, again, when they get that hammer.
So nothing really to put a pod in play. So we're looking for that bow. It's probably here in Eastern Palace.
Now it may not even be the bow anymore. It could be Quake, it could be the hammer. And it could still be an ice.
Well, we'll see. Both runners now in Eastern.
Like I said 5 minutes ago, this is definitely a crab seed territory right now.
Yeah, this is definitely up there in bad seeds.
So that's one item. So there are 2 items in Eastern, and then there is
Just
Ice
ice.
Palace. That's all that's left. Is this another dreaded hammer in Ice Seed?
Wouldn't be the first one I've commentated.
To
be perfectly honest. Alright, stop us from here.
Just for people who are tuning in, it's not in Swamp. It's Eastern or Ice that has progression at this point. Everything else is
Second item in Eastern is a heart piece. Vanilla Big Key. So it's either in this big chest or it's on the Ormos Knights, in which case those are bow locked, which means it's more than likely either the bow or the hammer or both in early Ice Palace. Oh man, that's annoying. Or even worse, it could be Quake in Ice Palace.
And we could
And
really
hammer
have
has
that
a
silly.
berry.
Yeah, we could actually have that really silly situation here. Because of how few locations are available, that is a scenario that could happen.
Oh, this is dumb. I love it and hate it at the same time that it's dumb, but it's still dumb.
I just feel really sorry for the players today who has to experience this. But the thing is, Happy's leaving. Okay, so if this has something...
It's Compass.
Oh my...
It's in
Okay.
Ice Palace.
Yep, it's Ice. Now, some of them still have some checks left to do. Like, humbugh has back of Thieves Town, SailorNep has the first chest in Swamp. But I think Nep is actually gonna go pick up the cane and then go into Ice.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Because if you were going somewhere else, you would just mirror a flute.
Yeah, I think SailorNep is going to get the Cane of Samari and then dump 5 ice. Because at this point, I think ice is the most item dense play we have left. Other than locations they've already checked.
I think they've checked everything else. Like, humbugh has stated, has the back of Thieves Town, doesn't have anything.
Yeah, I meant places that the other has already checked. Sorry. Just
Yeah.
to be clear. Well, here we go. First look at Ice Palace.
So, Quake, Bow, or Hammer. It must be one of those 3. Or if you're a really, really evil person, then one of the fetch quests, obviously. And if you get something like Quake or Bow in this first chest, you may just decide, I'm leaving, I'm not going deeper, I don't care. Nep is already taking some risks here by skipping out on locations, such as the one we just saw in Eastern, so if that was an item, wouldn't see past her skip.
First item in ice is 10 arrows.
Well, I mean, it must be here.
It's gotta be. We have no other places left to look unless we forgot something.
Well, all other dungeons have been checked. The tablets have been checked. Purple chest, yes. Catfish, Sora. Graveyard Ledge. The
And as a
entire Maya
reminder,
area.
And as a reminder to anyone who's just now tuning in, this was a standard seed, so we already have all of escape cleared as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it comes down to whatever's in your ice spells.
Which is gonna put Nep clearly in the lead here.
So
It has all 4 items, Humbugh can just leave. Blind has the map.
and the small key locked itself apparently.
And Humbugh has the pedestal information. Nep didn't have that when going in there, which is why Nep cleared out Blind.
Humbugh is heading nice.
I mean, we're gonna have a really close race here. Our Dark World access was Titansmiths up in Paradox Cave, so the entirety of Dark Death Mountain has been done. They had hookshot at that point as well.
Oh no!
We're going Meyer! We are going Meyer.
That's the one thing we don't want to see, because that puts Mystery Mire logic, and thus that puts the 5-6 crystals in logic, which in turn means this could be a very, very niche seed here, folks. We could have what I call the instance for Aga. At the hammer is at Pyramid Fairy. It could be there. Very strong possibility now.
Well, Nep is continuing here, wants to continue to check for a 3rd item here.
That makes perfect sense.
Meyer only has 2 items, and if you do want to do the Pyramid Fairy in logic, you will have to do Aga 1. You can bomb dupe it, it is possible, but I can't even think of how many people actually know how to do.
Big key in nice tea room. This is just nuts.
We're 1 hour in, and we're missing hammer and bow?
Yeah.
And we have 2 crystals? I mean, once you find those items, the dungeons are just gonna go by so quickly. But it seems so slow.
Indeed. Compass. Everything else in here is hammerlock.
Alright, we're going to Meyer.
If we don't see it, actually, wait. Hammer may not be in. Hammer may not be in Pyramid Fairy.
You're implying
the
it could be the
bow.
bow, yeah.
Could be the bow with our hammer being on the Ormos Knights because they have the 3rd item.
Yeah. If you want to be really rude, you could add in all the fetch quest items there as well.
That is also true. We have no idea here. There are 2 items here missing Meyer. One way or the other, we're gonna get our information.
Humbugh just staring at the map there and just trying to think, what am I gonna do? Nep had a very similar situation.
Alright. Let's see if it's here in Misery Mire.
I remember when I said like 30 minutes ago that hammer go mode seeds are very nice. Yeah, about that. I guess there are some exceptions.
Yeah, this is one I would say, yeah, no, this is a bad one.
And Humbugh also now going into Maya.
First chest open is a small key.
I guess the typical thing is, hey, I need all the items in Mire. I guess we should just make it God mode and just give me this big key and this chest over here.
I want to put it past the seat, honestly.
Me neither.
Fulfilling their health and 2 small keys.
I also think that if you get the B key there, you just go kill Vitreous, because you're gonna kill Vitreous anyway.
Yeah. Viddy needs to die. Regardless, anyway.
We'll see how they decide to route in the cutscene here, because there could be something there. Just rush it, or you decide to attempt to skip it.
Well, this is a small key. The cutscene chest has the big key. No, there's our bow.
Alright,
so
that unlocks one item in Eastern Palace.
And in terms of SailorNep, also the entirety of Thousand Darkness, which had nothing.
Yep. Nothing at all. So that's one item in Eastern. Well, you know all that talk about Hammer Go mode? We're still looking for the Ice Rod as well. We kind of forgot about that along the ride.
Yeah, we have, actually. It's been in the back of my mind, but at the same time, he needs Hammer before we even think about Turtle Rock.
Let's be honest, it's probably on Laser Bridge, the seed.
Probably.
Probably.
Big
Vanilla
big
Big
key,
E.
interesting. So one more item here in this. Did Humbug not get the bow? Oh no, he did.
Yeah, must have. Can't imagine you skipped that location.
And before SailorNep goes to fight Vitreous, gonna check the lobby for the second item.
You still have one more item in Mire. You have one item in Eastern, and then by extension, those two items at Pyramid Fairy.
The worst part is it can still beat Pyramid Fairy with the hammer.
Yeah, I mean, the bow only unlocks one location!
This is not a good seed.
Oh no, it's really bad. I feel so sorry for our players.
Alright. If it's not here, then it's on Viddy. It's on Vitreous. Alright, let's moment of truth time. Let's see what our second item is as we head over to fight.
Humbugh could potentially gain some time here by just deciding to go for that immediately. And I'll check the east side.
I think Nev's nerves got the best of him there. Because for a moment I thought they were going to attempt to offer that gap. And it went the wrong way accidentally.
But Humbugh is also checking the east side before going, so same route.
We'll also know that Vitreous has a second item. Vitreous with the bow is thankfully doable. Not gonna be too crazy.
Yeah, they are more than well equipped. You would prefer silvers, of course, but it's not the worst in the world. I mean,
Yeah,
they've
having-
had tempered for like 50 minutes now or something as well.
And the Spooky Action Glitch has been armed this whole time, and SailorNep making full use of it. And I just noticed both runners have the cape.
Ooh, yeah, I was gonna say, Nep, that did not quite trigger there. There we go.
So both runners could opt for cape and dash strats here.
Yeah, we're gonna see that.
Or cape and spin. Yeah, it's gonna be cape and spin. With the cape for equipped for a oh no, it's just gonna be spins with cape for safety.
That also works. And then you take out the bow to finish off the work.
Now that lightning, folks, is random.
Yeah, but when you stand at the side, can't really hit you, and that's crystal number 3 at the
And it's a heart
109 mark.
piece! Oh
So,
my
like,
goodness!
We are gonna kill Armos first.
Most likely, yes.
Because I unless they know how to do the bomb dupe, you are going to kill Armos first. And even then, you have to kill Armos because it's a crystal. Humbugh is destroy that boss completely.
I'm nervous now for these two. What a game 2 for these guys. No, SailorNep is not going to Eastern. Going to go straight to Super Bomb. Skullwoods?
It could be Skullwoods, because there may still be one item there in the back.
Well, that's true. This is the only way to get the Super Bomb.
Yeah, it is true. So,
Super Bomb.
So Nep knows the dupe? Humbugh is going Eastern.
I think SailorNep...
You must know the dupe, because otherwise why would you make this call? I think everything else has been checked along the way.
Oh, wait! That's brilliant. If this is the case, this is brilliant. If Nep is going for this Super Bomb, which they are... Alright. Nep must know the dupe. Moment of truth. Is it Eastern or is it the Super Bomb? And this was an Agassi the entire time.
Well, Nep... Oh, I think Nep may have just realized something. That menu there.
That's the mirror, I believe, when the counter hits 0.
That doesn't seem like that was the right one, nope. Oh, and if you don't get that... Yeah, there's no way to go with the flippers over back to the west side, so you have to take this entire route all over again.
Yeah, Zelda could probably do this a couple more times, but at that point, after that, it's more than likely it's fast to just go kill Aga. Speaking of which, we're about to see if Eastern Palace has the progression or not.
Oh, this is...
Here come the Armos Knights.
Remember, Humbugh is up 1-0 in this best of 3.
The Armos Knights
Oh
have
my
bombs!
goodness!
This is an Aga required seed, folks! Pyramid Fairy has progression! And the only way to get the Super Bomb there, normally, is to defeat Aga 1 in this instance, because we do not have the hammer.
It's hammer or a fetch quest to hammer at the Pyramid Fairy.
You hate to see it on these kinds of seeds, but so it goes.
Humbugh is just going straight to Aga 1. Probably doesn't know the dupe, just going for it. If Nep gets the dupe here, she's in a tremendous lead. He's even pulse buffering. Oh, it's on the bush.
But did the dupe?
Oh my
The dupe was
goodness.
successful. I think the bush was on purpose.
Yeah, it must have been on purpose then. I don't know the details of it because I've only seen it like once. So Nep gets the hammer now. Will be in go mode. Doesn't have to do Aga 1 that Humbugh is doing right now.
It's not go mode yet. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
go
ice
mode
rod.
yet.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's the ice rod. Come on, there's not that many. Where can the ice rod be? Come on, unless you're gonna be really mean and put it in swamp.
It could be on Helmeter Cave. It could be in Swamp. It could be in Turtle Rock. It could be in Spike Cave. It could be in Hammer Pegs.
I guess you still just go for all the crystal dungeons first. The meta is still the ice rod is the Turtle Rock, so you go
There's
there.
There's a third item in ice. We don't have that one yet either.
God,
Magic powder!
This
Oh!
bloody seed, I don't even.
It's magic powder!
And you have to go via the dark world and use the mirror because the light world is blocked by the hammer.
I'm gonna ask this question bluntly. Who put this progression through a strainer? Because this is annoying.
I have no words to describe the seed at this point. Absolutely no words. It's probably Shovel as well right now. I don't care. Or Shovel is in Turtle Rock for Ice Rod. I don't care anymore. And I don't think the players do either. I think they just want to throw their console, their controller, and everything out the window at this point.
How do you powder about the hammer? Good question. You're about to see right here and right now on SailorNep's end. Yeah, it's that simple. You just mirror behind this peg. Alright.
God. Well,
Please,
we had a
Magic Man,
call.
just give us our hammer and end this. End our suffering.
Please. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we had a qualifier
What
seed.
a seed.
So we had a qualifier seed where the best way to do it was to do Dark Aga 1 with the Fire Rod. Just because they wanted you to have the lamp after getting Mips and Swamp and then use that to get the lamp, so you could use that to do Aga 1 to get the hook shot to Lumberjack. And you can sequence break by doing Dark Aga 1. And here we sequence break it by duping the damn bomb? SailorNep just leaves hammer pegs completely. We're still looking for the ice rod!
You know the worst part is that the ice rod's there at hammer pegs?
Oh god.
You hate to see these kinds of seeds, and yet here it is. In all its glory for what it's worth, I guess. Oh man.
Yep. I tend to say that some matches deliver, but sometimes they just deliver the worst.
Definitely keeping us on our toes here, but the progression has been on such a trickle. It's only been a little bit here and there.
So, after you get your Dark World access, you had to go into Ice, so you could go to Mire, so you could do Aga 1.
And you know the worst part is? Someone bringing this up in chat. Humbugh's file name was Please No Bat, and yet this is the Magic Bat Seed.
Oh my goodness.
I feel so bad for both these runners. I can't even express it. Make sure to give these two a follow, folks. They are definitely going through a thing right now. They deserve some support after this one, that's for sure.
Well, Humbug, you are... Yeah, you have to take this path again, through the Dark World again, to get the big bomb. God, this flute, this duck must hate Kakariko right now. It's been used like 20 times this seed.
Oh. Well, it already hates Kakariko because it was trapped there, A. But yeah, I don't think it likes being floated here repeatedly either.
Nep not quite getting the clip here, and ice physics are ice.
Where was Powder? Pyramid Fairy. And and Powder led to the hammer. Required.
This tournament just finds new and utterly ridiculous ways to make Aga 1 required. So, Humbug, now picking up the bomb. SailorNep did a dupe on second try, and even despite failing that once, just gained so much time. Still hasn't done Eastern, which Humbug did earlier. But even then, definitely in the lead here, but it all depends on that ice rod.
Yeah. Humbug does have the Armos Knights defeated. So we're now hunting for the ice rod now.
And for crystals, because they need 3 more crystals now, each of them, at the 120 mark. That's a Cane of Samaria required as well. Not that anyone cares about that at this point.
No.
And Humbug's gonna get the damn powder. Okay, so time to go fly back to Kakariko. Again. To go back into the Dark World. Again.
To powder that bloody bat.
Oh my goodness. And Nep's now gonna be able to do Eastern Pod back to back. And there was a bow-locked pod that this sequence broke and got nothing from.
What was the last time I spelled? Good question. What was the last time? I missed it.
I think Nep just skipped. Nep just skipped the entire hammerlock side.
Oh. That's a development. What if that was the ice rod?
Certainly the possibility, but I think Nep at this point is focused on other things and probably working under the assumption that it's in Turtle Rock.
I mean, both are supposed to feel behind right now, given what this seed was. I don't blame them for it either.
Yeah, but who makes the call to go into hammerless ice when you have those other options available to you? And then after you do that, and after you clear Mire with Quake, who at that point is going to either dupe the bomb or do Aga 1?
Humbug also leaving the hammer hitfix behind. Going straight to Pod Eastern. Or Pod even.
Yeah, this is only Pod.
So both have abandoned the hammer picks for the time being. Really want to make progress on dungeons, and I don't blame them. So, for those tuning in, as I believe March just mentioned, it was Quake and Ice Palace to get the bow in Misery Mire, which didn't lead to anything, so you end up getting the 5-6 anyway to get the powder, or at Aga 1, behind the Pyramid Fairy, lock behind Aga 1, to get the hammer. What a nonsense seed this has been. And we're still looking for that one singular ice rod.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Humbug has killed Aga 1. SailorNep skipped killing Aga 1 using a bomb dupe.
Now you just rush the bosses in these dungeons and... They must both be working under the assumption that it's in Turtle Rock.
Possibly, yes. But given how late our hammer was, I wouldn't be surprised if it is hammerlocked somewhere in the world.
Yeah, and you need a hammer for the entirety of Turtle Rock.
That is true. But I wouldn't discount the other dungeons either. Not to mention our overworld locations as well.
Yeah, like Spy Cave.
Or hammer pegs, which they both skipped even though they were right there.
And that is definitely the one thing that was a bit weird to see.
Yeah, if hammer pegs ended up having the ice rod, and one of them checked and the other didn't, that would have been game.
And right now, if hammer pegs ends up having ice rod, we will be here for a while.
Indeed, we will only go back to that. That is the question that needs to be asked, and I'll say not for a good while.
Oh dear. Well, after this, Humbugh goes clear out Ice, and SailorNep just goes straight to Turtle Rock. Maybe you check Spy Cave on the way, but I'm not too certain of that.
Alright. Down goes Humbugh.
Another crystal for Humbug. And Nep will get crystal number 6 soon. So here we can also see this lead that Nep has over Humbug. Humbug now entering ice, Nep finishing off the eastern and will now begin to climb the mountain.
But will Humbug check the right side of ice, and will it have the payout that they are looking for, rather?
But you know, if you skip hammer pegs, are you really checking that? I mean, that's the weird thing, since both of them skipped it.
But SailorNep also skipped the Hammerlock side here in ice.
Dead rock, please.
Dead rocks, please, indeed.
We don't need more of that in this seed. Do we think about where the ice sword can be? Spike Cave, Hammer Pegs, one location in ice, Turtle Rock, and Mimic Cave, but Mimic Cave is basically Turtle Rock.
Yeah.
In this mode.
Could also be Sahasrara with the green pendant. Really, if I'm looking at the ice rod,
Swamp. We have the entirety of Swamp. There are still 6 items there and the green pendant.
I mean, it makes sense to try to dive the dungeon, just see how much of an annoyance the seed is.
I mean,
and really, we can do a lot of work on Turtle Rock.
We had a qualifier where Go mode was Ice Rod. People went into Ice Rock or into Turtle Rock looking for it. It wasn't there. And one player that did that still ended up winning the race. That's how many people go into Turtle Rock to look for the Ice Rod. And how often it's there.
And Humbug is looking to actually check the Hammerlock side.
My. If
Well,
it's
this is
not
the
there,
Ice Rod. This is a huge advantage because SailorNep would have left this behind. And, well, when will they come back to check this?
probably after Swamp. But if
With
it's
all the
not
other
here,
overworld?
that's good for Nep.
With all the other overworld locations? They'll probably check it in a panic, and really, who wants to triple the ice? Half magic at the start of Turtle Rock.
You're never gonna say no to half magic.
Definitely no. Alright. Bone Troop, is it here in ice? It's in that final chest.
Ooh.
It's a hard piece. Okay, so SailorNep did dodge a bullet. It's not an ice. But until we see it, could be anywhere that's hammerlocked. Could even be on a mushroom we find here, for all we know.
We still have those fetches left. Humbug knows, have all 3 items, don't need to open that, let's just go kill the boss. I know about you, but I'm just kind of holding my breath here at this point. The seed has been so ridiculous so far. I don't even know what to expect.
It's really eyes on SailorNep here, as if the Ice Rod's here, they are in go mode, and they will tie up the series here, 1 game to 1 game. If it's not, and Humbug finds it in another location, they are in the driver's seat.
A really good cold stare fight as well for Humbug.
Indeed. Did we find a big key here? Yeah, we did. Okay, so potentially an item here on the big key chest. And really, with a missing ice rod, you really can't ignore it.
It really can be anywhere among all the locations you have left.
Alright. Humbug, where are you going?
Almost certainly going to Turtle Rock. I'd be surprised if there's anything else. Oh, actually
No!
going Swamp? Oh my god!
This is a development and a half.
Oh my goodness.
This just got spicy here, folks.
Oh, this curry is
Engine
really
Swamp
spicy.
versus Crystal Turtle Rock. Which one will have the ice rod?
It could be neither! It
That's
could
the
be
best
Hammer.
part!
Well, if you think you're behind right now, if it's in Turtle Rock, you probably think you've lost. So let's just work under the assumption that it isn't there, and let's go somewhere else. I like this call from Humbug. It takes so much to make this, and I'm fully behind it.
Something else the chat pointing out. If it's not here in Turtle Rock, Nep can't save the portal if it's in Swamp. But if it's anywhere else, Humbug can save the portal and thus be able to return to Turtle Rock's shortcut room.
Yep.
If they make a similar play here.
As you've seen, Humbug has already been in here beforehand and picked up the compass.
Mimic Cave has the mushroom! Oh no!
I just want to flush the seed down the toilet. And then I'll clean the toilet like 3 times after that.
What is this seed?
It's bad.
Oh.
It's really bad. There are no other words to explain it. It's bad.
Yeah. It's basically... The seed has flowed like molasses here. It's just been one item here and there. They're just giving us little bits and pieces. And now it's come down to the ice rod.
And
There's
they're
really
probably
nothing redeeming about this seed either.
tempered at 20 minutes, I think is the only thing.
Yeah.
And red mail. But like, no. Well,
Alright.
it could be mushroom, it could be swamp, it could be hammer pegs, we still don't know.
Alright, well, it's going to be coming down to the moment of truth here for SailorNep as Laser Bridge is on the horizon.
We know there's at least one item on left side swamp. There must be a key here.
I'm going back. Laser Bridge, 300 rupees. The ice rod is here! SailorNep is now in go mode, just needs to get the small key, which is right here, and there they go!
I guess the seed did in fact redeem itself a little bit in the end, but I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that it's probably the mushroom that has silver arrows then. And unfortunately for Humbug, there are very few worlds where they will be able to win this at this point.
Yeah, this is unfortunate for Humbug, but this series is not over yet, because this will go to Game 3, and Humbug will decide if they want to add another twist to the seed, because normally this would have been an open seed, but SailorNep, being the loser, chose to make it a standard seed instead. Or could revert it back, make it the same thing. We don't know yet.
Hopefully it's a seed that doesn't have magic bat.
And also, because this is the final crystal, folks, we have a game we like to play. I'll go and explain it. Don't get your guesses until the crystal is caught. But we have 22 chests in Ganon's Tower. Only one chest has the big key. When the boss crystal is caught, give us a number in chat and tell us where you think the big key will be.
I think the bot is still dead, so you can just start posting random numbers now. I don't really think it matters.
Yeah, this is gonna be for fun. I think if the bot's still down.
I guess we can have a little bit of fun at the end. Oh, it's still Oh,
good job,
God.
Good job. Okay, that's the last nail in the coffin right there.
It's not really going to be enough for Humbug, but I'm so not surprised.
Oh, and Humbug's gonna check left side swamp. Yeah, this is more than over. Where do you think the big key is gonna be here, Marge?
Tile room.
You know what? I want the seed to redeem itself. I'm gonna say Hope Room.
If it redeems itself, it's in chest number 1.
Checking the torch first. It's a small key.
We did get to kill Bob, so it does redeem itself a little bit.
What did Bob ever do to us?
Oh
Too
right,
much.
stole our magic.
Alright, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming up.
Choose a small key. 3. Big key! Very quick big key here.
And
Checking
that's
the
still checking
guesses.
additional locations here for silvers or a sword or something. Well, we don't know where the 4th sword is, but they're not getting silvers.
And the closest person to guess 3, because there was no exact guess, was Silwin X3 with 4. They were the first person to come close.
And Humbug will have to do the entirety of Turtle Rock after this. This is an insurmountable position that will require multiple quadrant glitches.
Ugh.
There's all items in Swamp. Well, logically, the logic does assume that you do beat Swamp to get silver arrows. Pretty certain that's still how the logic works, but no one really cares about that logic.
Yeah. Pretty much anyone who plays this randomizer has learned the silver strat.
I mean, if you're in this tournament, if you don't know how to silver list, then I have a big question for you. How did you manage to qualify?
That's
Because-
a fair point.
Considering the level of play that we've had so far, including that draw that we had yesterday, like, you need a lot of talent, a lot of skill, and probably Aga 1 if you're gonna win. Hamburg seems to be checking everything that isn't Turtle Rock at this point, still working on the assumption that it isn't there. It's really their only chance if you decide to make that swamp call, so we're gonna see Hammerpeg.
Beautiful gauntlet. It's set rooms for SailorNep. Now climbing up Ganon's Tower. Onto the Wizrobe floors. My favorite rooms because of, well, that right there.
To answer chat, Humbug has already acquired all 4 items in Thieves Town, and Pedestal is dead, and Humbug knows that. That's why Blind is still alive, because Blind has a map, for some reason.
10 arrows in hammer pegs. I think Humbug will last location this ice run, unfortunately.
Yep, but that's just how they decided to set up their risk here, by going into Swamp instead of Turtle Rock. And if it's the other way around, Humbug probably wins this. And that's just the kind of risk that you sometimes have to take.
Indeed.
But I mean, Nep getting that bomb dupe on the second try, persevering after failing it the first time, getting it, and just set her on the right path through this crap fest of the seed. Didn't know you could powder only one of those. That was interesting.
Yeah, you can powder them both if you've got the switch like
Yeah.
that. It
That
makes for a
looked
nice full
funky.
heal before the Moldorm and Aga 2 fight.
Well, we do get to see what Spy Cave finally had after all this time, and
Gold Sword!
the seed.
And the compass in Moldorm's chest.
Well, Humbug found all the items except for the ice rod, and we will never know what the mushroom had. For now.
Well, yeah, the credits probably tell us. It's probably a shield, knowing the seed at this point.
Knowing the seed, we are still looking for 2 shields, and one of them is in TR.
We also could be looking for the nice triple there of the shovel or the bug net. Although I think we saw the bug net. No one picked it up.
Yeah, that may be accurate. The red meringue was a sore ledge. Come on, Aga, we don't need blue balls. Be nice, please.
There we go. Aga 2 is down, now it's time for SailorNep to fight the pig.
And no worries, everyone. Everyone watching right now, this seed is almost over. It's just a few more minutes.
Yep, just 12 slashes or 6 spins in the first 2 phases here of Ganon as we go in with Tempered Sword. After which it'll be 4 slashes to advance phase 3 through its 4 required hits. The teleports will be random but seeded amongst both players. They'll have the same teleport RNG. And then it'll be the darkness technique, keep the torches lit. And then because we don't have the silver arrows, we will have to hit in as he teleports away. It's not an easy hit to strike, and it'll be 12 hits for that last phase. Or is it? Yeah, 12 spins for that last phase.
You do have half magic sitting at, that seems to be 62.5%, so that's more than enough.
Yeah, and there's a blue potion in the back pocket.
Yep.
Gonna sacrifice the first hit here to set up the torch glitch, so the torch on the right will never go out. Very important if you're trying to do a silver list, that keeps your magic consumption to a minimum.
And you can get 3 hits in here per cycle. You only get the 2 on the first one though, because of setting up the glitch.
Yeah. Now, if you notice, sometimes you'll see Ganon raising his hand before he begins teleporting. That's pretty much the tell to when you release a spin. That's when he's vulnerable. That couple of frames of animation. It can be very hard to tell, though.
Just need a few more hits to finish off this fight.
If you're too early, you'll actually stun Ganon, and that's when you release the silver arrows. Those then forward kill him, but that's all that SailorNep wrote here, folks. The long seed is finally over. Use your GG's in the chat for SailorNep, who is going to be crossing the finish line and will be your winner in this race, tying it up 1-1 with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 34 seconds.
It's over, ladies and gentlemen. It's over. And Humbugh getting the B key here in Turtle Rock. Still has a bit of a ways to go. We're actually getting a confirmation that Humbugh has in fact forfeit from this race. And honestly, I don't blame anyone for doing that.
We'll see if they want to come in here for an interview. To be fair, with this seed, I don't blame them if they don't. We are now joined by Humbugh and SailorNep. GG's to you both. SailorNep, just to let you in, I'm not pretty sure Humbugh's already told you because there was a 20-minute delay on this race. The silvers were on Argus.
on Argus specifically. I saw the Ganon hint, but wow, having to go all the way to the boss just for that sucks.
Yeah.
It wasn't
So-
worth it. Trust me.
So it came down at the end because you actually had us in the edge of our seats for the briefest of moments because Neb, you went to Turtle Rock immediately after clearing all your dungeons. Humbug, you went to Swamp to try to test your luck there. It turns out, Neb, you made the right call. But other than that, this seed was, well, absolute garbage. There's no other way to describe it.
Yeah, I gotta say this is probably the worst seed I've ever played under these settings. Definitely not the least fun. It was actually a lot of fun, especially in this kind of setting. It was just very exciting the whole time, having to constantly think, what move can I make that can maybe get me ahead here? And
It
Like-
was I mean, this seed wouldn't have been half as fun. It was if it was a qualifier seed with 80 razors. That would have been just frustrating. But this was actually fun. I mean, I lost by a mile, but it was really fun.
Yeah. Incredibly linear, but also pretty entertaining at the same time.
For me, it didn't feel linear at all. I know it was. I see that now, but I mean, I had choices. All the race through. I just basically never made the right ones.
So, what did you guys think of this extended AGA, I think that you mentioned in IRC?
that was extremely funny. Like when I finally got to the pyramid and I got the powder, see, that was not my last location, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a red rupee off the magic bat, and I'm going to feel very bad.
Well, at the point that you actually got the magic powder, we had confirmed on our end that it had to be the magic powder. There was nothing left.
I gotta
Yeah,
say, there was also another big thing for me, and that was finding the mushroom and mimic cave. Since I never cleared out Skull Woods, I was really worried that it was a fake powder situation again.
Oh, you thought you were on the other end of that one, as apart from the last seed.
I didn't
Yeah.
actually catch the credits here and saw what the mushroom was. Whoops. Oh well.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't anything too important. We know where that last sword and silvers were.
Indeed.
Yep.
So, Humbug, it's now 1-1. You now have the option to twist things a little bit further or reset them. What do you want to pick?
Actually, I think I'm gonna stay with standard. I kind of like it. I have not thought this through at all. That doesn't mean that I thought that I was gonna win this race. I just haven't thought about it.
So,
I'll get back to you.
So the decision is currently be unknown at the time. Well,
Yep.
hopefully by the time Game 3 comes around, we'll have to know and you'll give us a good show all the same.
Yep.
Speaking of Game 3, when is that going to be between you two? Do you happen to know?
We haven't decided yet. We
Okay.
haven't talked about it.
Yeah, we can discuss that later.
Yep.
Well, other than the fact that the seed was just plain annoying, any final thoughts on it?
I just really appreciate the fact that, you had these two dreams of trolly things that can happen. Hammer and Ice Palace and Hammer and Pyramid Fairy. And this seed technically gave us both.
Technically, you're not wrong. But thank you both for racing here, folks. Make sure to give these two a follow once again. They put on an excellent race for us tonight. Also, make sure to follow my co-commentator, March Epic, and of course, our tracker, who was Duderk0 in chat here. Haven't mentioned him at all, but he did an excellent job keeping track of all those items for you here. And of course, make sure to take a look at the schedule. The folks, there's been a ton of races here. We're only in the day 3 of week 1. There's more races going on all over the place. In fact, isn't there one coming up in a little bit here for you guys?
We have a match right now over on Speed Gaming, and in about 40 minutes over on Speed Gaming 4, and then it will continue across the entire night.
Yeah. There is just a bunch of matches all across the day. And some of them are not even being featured here on Speed Gaming. Make sure to follow us here on Speed Gaming 3 and as well as Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2, 4, 5, and 6. We also do some of these races on a Link to the Past randomizer. So make sure to follow those on a Link to the Past randomizer 1 through 1. The Link to the Past randomizer and Link to the Past randomizer 2 to 5. ALTTPR are 2 through 5. But with that being all said and done, folks, we're going to go ahead and let you guys go. So from all of us here at the Link to the Past Randomizer 2019 tournament, I have been Wolfling0370, and we shall see you all next time, and thank you for watching. Have a good night, everyone.